hello, and how are you? Oh my God, I'm so excited. Guys, in today's special feature, you're going to like it. This is going to change your life. You know what? I have my brother today. And we just went to talk, catching up. And I stopped him in the middle of the catching up. Because the things he's saying are so deep, so life-changing. Today I brought you, in my view, the most experienced, widely renowned life coach in our country and in Africa. Actually, we were discussing his tour to Rwanda, and they invited him there. Just that brief, it was actually a pre-visit to plan the real one. When he arrived there, they heard he was around. They invited him to the media stations, and we were in the middle of that conversation. Let me go back to my introduction. This guy is a life coach with many years of experience. Everybody has heard of his name. If you're in Kenya or somewhere in Africa, you know English, you've heard of Israel Robert Burale. This man, I've worked with him before, and it's first time he's coming to this show. I've gone to his own shows, we have met in other things, and he's a guy I have really admired how he has. And I was asking him how he managed to build anything in this hostile environment. In fact, we were in that place of hostility of our environment that I wanted to bring. So I brought Robert to discuss some of the things that personally I feel is way better to handle them. He is more experienced, he has a fatherly presence, and he has seen a lot, being a father, being a teacher, being a TV host, being a lot of things for many years. And out of that respect, I say he is the best man to tell us something about our sexual life and addictions in that area. So the guy I have today is the best man for this topic. Don't you dare move. Come closer, my brother.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here, my brother. Man. I honor you. It's an honor to be here.
I was very humbled, man, for you to agree to come in. He's here on time. I mean, he just pops up. Give him direction. Thank you for being that humble, that reachable, that easy to work with. Yet you are towering up there.
Thank you, sir.
This guy can walk up to the president. Hey, what's up? Anybody in this country, I've seen this guy know the circles, and we are much honored.
Thank you for having me.
As the younger crop, they're coming.
Right.
You're taking the time. Even one thing he surprised me that he watches our shows to see, you guys are doing it. Keep it up.
I do learn a lot.
Thank you, man.
The day you stop learning, you start dying.
You're right.
And you can never be too big to say you know everything. I learn a lot from you.
Wow.
A lot. And your guests as well. They have something. If we can't pick lessons from people, we are going nowhere.
You said when you stop learning,
you start dying.
You start dying.
Yes. You start dying straight away.
I saw a guy who said that some people die at 25 and they're not buried until they're 75.
Exactly. Exactly. And there are many like that. Because
they stopped evolving, learning.
Know it all.
And another person said, for as long as you keep learning, you remain young.
It's true. There's a new angle. We can even learn from 20-year-olds.
That's right.
If you're going to impact their lives, we got to learn some things from them. Know their mindset. Know their thinking. Know how they want to be spoken into. We preach the gospel. We cannot preach to a 20-year-old the way we preach to a 70-year-old. We're still preaching the gospel, not compromising the word.
You're right.
But the packaging must be different. So if you don't learn from them, how will you reach them?
That's right.
Yeah.
You know, in parenting, when you are naive, you think you are the one pouring into the child.
Yes.
And they say the funny thing is, as you parent, it's a dual journey.
Absolutely.
You're teaching them from your angle, they are teaching you from their angle.
Absolutely.
And if you're open, you are not egotistical like the parents of Africa who are too afraid to be questioned and to apologize and to come down.
Yes.
If you are healthy enough to form a relationship and allow them to give you feedback, you grow with the child.
Absolutely.
So that when you say my child is 10 years old, you also say as a parent, I'm also 10 years old.
Yes. You have to go down to the level at some point.
Let's go to the conversation we were talking about.
Right.
So you went to Rwanda.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
Oh, Rwanda was a beautiful country. Let me tell you something, Benjamin.
Yes.
Rwanda opened my eyes. First, country is very clean.
Wow.
And people are not littering because the policemen are watching. Whether somebody is watching or not, there is discipline. That talks to me about leadership. It's now ingrained. They wake up to do the right things. And I'm not saying it's a perfect country.
You're right.
But you can sense their mindset. But number two, when I got invited to one of their shows, One of the biggest shows in Rwanda.
Was it
television.
pre-planned?
No. Just because some heard that I was there, they said, please get this guy to our station. And I was there. Because it was a fact-finding mission. It was a precursor of what we intend to do later.
Right.
But I love the fact that they grabbed the opportunity. And I was invited to a TV station. They got me there. But what opened my mind, because I pick people based on what they want me to speak about. And I asked, what do you want me to speak about?
You're right.
They say, we've done our research on you. We know you've done books. You'll talk about your books. But there's something you want us to talk about. The future of the African youth. Why are the youth going to America, to Europe? Why? What is making them leave Africa? Why can they build Africa and make Europe out of Africa? And let me tell you, I said, you know what? Tick, I am coming. Those are the topics that excite you, that can build people. And I was like, yeah, we need to learn a lot. Because then we don't need to look only for trending topics. We don't only need to look for gossip. How are we going to build the 15-year-old now, who in 10 years will be 25, will be somebody's husband, will be a manager somewhere in a supposed to be a manager in a blue chip company. But if we raise our young people based on gossip, at 25-year-old, a young person raised by gossip will not compete with a 25-year-old who has been raised by heavy content. So we're already making our young people be at the back of the line.
Wow.
If 15-year-olds or 10-year-olds are being talked about the future of the African youth, it means in another 5 years, they'll be meat enough to learn about, okay, fine, this is our future. This is what we need to do. Not 5 things about Benjamin Zulu that will shock you. Number 5 will shock you more. So we are putting our people at the back of the line already.
Wow.
Will our 25-year-old compete? Can a 25-year-old be employed to be a CS?
Where are you referring to? 25 CS?
25-year-old. There's 30-year-olds there who are in government, high positions. When I mean high position, decision-making positions.
Wow.
Decision-making.
Rwanda.
Decision-making, yes, sir. I was staying in a hotel and I met people from very big financial institutions. And I got talking with one of them. And he says...
You're talking about global institutions?
Global institutions. Global. There was a conference there. And fun enough, when we were having dinner, one of them came and says, I've watched you on YouTube. You are Mr. I said, yes. So we hit it off.
You're right.
And I said, why are you guys coming here? And he says, this is the future. Forward thinking. And I said, what do you mean forward thinking? He says, if we pump in whatever $1 billion here, there are young people in another 10 years, 20 years, are solid people. So we can trust our billions here. When I went to my room, my heart broke. Benjamin, my heart broke. I said, oh. He says, yeah, sometimes we give government money, not because we want to give government money. We know the future is safe.
Man.
And that opened my mind. And we need to have youth conferences here to tell these guys, listen, stop playing around. It's time to stop twerking and smoking shisha in clubs. It's time to start thinking. In 5-10 years, will you be strong enough to steer the economy of this country? So they don't look at a 50, 70-year-old president. They don't look at a 60-year-old president. That is a person in power. But they're saying, okay, fine, we are injecting finances here for 20 years. So 20 years, a 20-year-old now will be 40. Can we trust them with that money?
Wow.
Schools are being sponsored there by top celebrities in America. Why? We've got to think hard. Forget about these old people now. Let's speak to the young people.
No, Robert, I want you to contrast what they were saying about us when they said
Yes.
there is forward thinking there.
Yes, they said that.
And the word you used before you came on air, which sparked me, is progressive thinking.
Progressive thinking. That is it. Progressive thinking. That's why they can trust. But my worry is a 15-year-old Googling gossip and another 15-year-old in another country being told about the future of Africa, we're in trouble. Benjamin, we're in trouble. And it's time to stop hiding our head in the sand. What I'm saying may be unpopular, but if there's a parent with a 15-year-old, honestly, you have to feel my heart. Think about your child. What are they, when you take their phones and go on their history, online history, what are they Googling? What are they Googling?
No,
Gossip.
my brother, let me cut you because you're explaining something that has troubled me for a long time.
Yes.
When I go to YouTube, stories that are trending.
Yes.
This person cheated on me with 10 people.
Yes.
I discovered 10 children.
Yes. Somebody's hips, breasts.
The reels, there is a category of short videos.
Yes.
They have introduced called reels.
Yes.
Do you know, I just made a quiet decision. There's too much sexual content.
There's too much.
Vulgarity.
Too much.
I don't see snippets of life-changing points. When I go to Instagram and I check Western content,
Yes.
their snippets are from radio, talks, podcasts,
Yes.
with Elon Musk, with big people giving you a snippet.
Yes. How to be a successful businessman.
This guy Kiyosaki.
Yes, Robert.
There's so many snippets of him saying how the poor thing, and there's so many in their timeline.
Benjamin, do a podcast on how to succeed, and then some lady does a podcast on walking with the skimpy clothes. You'll have nobody watching you. You'll have nobody watching you. We'll all go to the other side. And then we expect our young people to compete with the best of Africa. I want our young people to go into these speaking competitions and compete with the best of the best.
Speaking,
We want to see a 16-year-old taking a podium in an international forum with 1,000 people or 2,000 people sitting there, and they give content and they speak with confidence. We want to see those people.
Do you know Rwanda is waking up from a disaster?
Yes.
People had written them off.
Yes. Bro, I was there. I'm seeing the young people in those TV stations, the things they're discussing. I was even invited. I did 2 shows. I was invited to one, I think, called something cafe for the young people. But even the topics we were discussing
We're not young.
were not young. And it's for the young people. It's a show for the young people. I was being interviewed by 2 very sharp girls, young girls. But the questions they were asking.
Were they asking you how to hit the right guy?
No.
Because that's what you will get here.
No. They were not. And I was like, what I'm telling these people, this is heavy content.
I mean,
So it means they've already gotten used to that.
now next time you're going, I'm coming along.
Let's
now.
go. We'll do something there. No, I'm telling you, we'll do something there.
And one thing you've. So young people invited you,
Yes.
and they were not asking you why my friends are not talking to me.
No. What is my purpose? How do I when you see a 17, 16, 15-year-old asking you, how do I discover my purpose? Benjamin,
Man.
that person asking that question in another 4 years will be 19 if the person is 15, but with the foundation of a 30-year-old.
Foundation of a 30-year-old.
Absolutely, sir.
They'll be discovering our own Facebook. Facebook was discovered by that age group.
Yeah.
The guy was only 20s and he has been experimenting with things.
We need to wake up. Benjamin, I don't know what we're going to do. We'll discuss this off camera. We need to call these young people and tell them as it is. But also parents must be able to tell these young people, go for that meeting. Not even go. We will pay for that meeting.
That's right.
We will pay for that meeting.
And you know what the advantage COVID did? It
Yes.
made virtual to be normal.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
Many people bring internet home, normalize, take it seriously.
Yes.
Yeah, before it never looked serious.
Yes. I mean, I'm going back to Rwanda. They want me back there.
Wow.
A few of my friends said, no, we're organizing something. We want you back here.
Man,
Because they want information.
I want us to tie this somewhere.
Right.
The young people listening to us now. One thing I like about Kenya so far,
Right.
people can watch content on their phone if they want. We
Yes.
have a lot of penetration. Safaricom has done us good. A lot of internet
Absolutely.
companies have done us
Absolutely.
good.
Absolutely.
They have made
Yes.
it possible
Safaricom has made data very cheap.
for you to watch things.
Yes.
And be, in fact, we keep reminding ourselves, remember we are not shooting for TV. Very small percentage people are using TV. They're using phones.
Yes.
So our sound quality, our picture, we're always thinking of a phone. A phone.
Yes.
Before we call them in a physical meeting, even now those who want are hungry.
Yes.
And they're listening.
Right.
What is that young person? I call them pre-25.
Yes.
This is the class I like
Right.
using. And I keep telling them, that incubation period is what made me. Like they keep asking, what's the difference? Which school did you go to? Which books did you read? Tell them, it's not that thing, that school. It's your frame of mind.
That is it.
During the critical incubation period of 24 and below.
Yes.
Talk to that pre-25 who's listening and you're saying, what did you see in Rwanda to make me catch up with them?
Right. Can I look at the camera?
Yes, you can.
We are watching a lot online.
Yes.
Everybody is on the phone. Go to a restaurant, you're on the phone. You look at a matatu, people on the phone.
You're right.
We need just to take your mind to the right information.
You're right.
What you feed yourself with will germinate and grow and manifest later in life. You can never take in lemon juice and burp out apple juice. Whatever you take in, Benjamin, is what they will give out. So I want to challenge the young people. Forget this notion that you have all the time. Well, you may live to 100. But the decisions that you'll make at your 24th year that will affect when you're 90 years. So I want to challenge you today. Please, in fact, whoever is watching today, don't go to any gossip. Go and look for information that will build you on purpose. How to build your network and your net worth. How to have the right relationships. Because a human being is a door to a big place.
You're right.
So what connections do you have? Young people, you don't have all the time. This is the time to build. A pregnant lady will take care of her first trimester with her third trimester in mind. If you don't take care of the baby in the first trimester, you will affect the end result in the third trimester.
Ooh, I wish you could go on like that.
Young people, I challenge you, please. I challenge you. Many ask, what did you do to get where you are? Benjamin, I wish I knew some of this information when I was 24. Maybe today I would have been the president of this country. You understand? And we tell these people, don't make some of these mistakes. And we are here not because we are perfect human beings.
That's right.
Everything we give you is because you have learned, we have studied, we know what it is, we have been given some wisdom by God. So please don't rubbish what we are saying. But the problem we have in this country, and we need to change, is that we tend to step on the very people who want to bless you with information. You will never receive from that which you don't honor. You can't. I know the scripture says prophets are without honor in their own home, but I want people with revelation to pick what you have to pick. And don't coalesce around people who will waste your time. I want a 15-year-old, a 21-year-old to make a decision that you'll be ahead of the pack. How will you be ahead of the pack? By the information you take in. I mean, who said a 20-year-old cannot be listening to Elon Musk? Who said? Who said you cannot go? I listen to me. I mean, I listen to you a lot. And I pick a lot. I will tell you, bro. I pick a lot. A lot.
Me, man.
Because if you are not a knowledge seeker, you'll be an empty vessel.
Unless they mistake it. I learn from these teachers so much. And one
We
thing
learn
I
a
like
lot.
with you, Robert, is that you have mastered that area of personal life.
Yes.
And many things you have told people, they were so outrageous, they started making them scandalous.
Yes. Sadly.
Robert says he lives chaste. He's
Yes.
not married now and
Yes.
he has controlled his sexual life.
Yes.
Now, people could, no, it's not possible.
Yes.
Pastor say, I wear.
Even
How?
pastors.
And that thing troubled me. And I said, so when God said, keep the marriage bed pure,
Yes.
to save us from the regrets and repercussions,
Yes.
people have drifted away, so far away from God's standard. Those who are obeying it
Yes.
seem outrageous.
In fact, I said to somebody, I wish the topic would have taken a different direction.
You're right.
Teach us, teach our young people.
Exactly.
How do you manage that kind of life?
Exactly.
Not scandalizing it. Oh, Arimis. Oh, so you what?
You know, and one thing I as we go to the topic, you have so much that I find so mind-opening. There's a statement you said, and I want you just to expound it a little bit.
Right.
You have answered this anticipating question.
Right.
What can I do now? They had John the Baptizer, and they asked him, what can we do? He started telling them, don't take bribe from anyone.
Yes.
Be satisfied with your, the administrators were asking him. Later on, another guy came to Rabbi. They called our Lord. They used to see him just as a teacher.
Yes.
Rabbi, what can I do?
Yeah.
To fulfill God's work. Young people asking you, what can we do to catch up forefront with the Zuckerbergs and the Rwandese and
Right.
to be forefront?
Right.
And I keep reminding them, young people, you have an advantage that is going for good.
Absolutely.
Youth is vapor. Proverbs that one. It's like smoke. Beauty is deception.
Yes.
This infatuation of youth is flying away. And I
Right.
see you shaking your bum on Instagram to get likes, to get
Imagine.
TikTok. That thing is flying away. Build on the other that rust and age do not destroy.
Right.
There's something you've said that it's the information they're taking in. And you used the seed, what they're taking in will germinate.
Absolutely. It's a principle of life. It has to. When a man, a husband, and a wife come together, a seed is poured.
You're right.
And a baby is born.
You're right.
And watch this. I'm in my 40s.
You're right.
But I was once a seed
You're right.
that has germinated out of one coming together of a husband and a wife.
You're right.
And it's peaking 40 years later.
You're right.
Whatever you put in as a seed will speak for 40 years. Is it a good seed? Is it a bad seed? So what I would urge you to do, look at where you slipped, not where you fell. And go back there and clean the mess. Number one, when you wake up, you pick your phone. What is the first thing that you want to do? To look for gossip? Or to build yourself?
Wow.
There's something I do. I try to learn 5 new words every day. And then stand in front of a mirror and apply them in a sentence. Build your communication. Communication brings results.
New words.
Yes.
And you try to put them.
In a sentence.
Man.
God is still communicating to us through the Bible.
That's right.
That's why we're still here.
That's right.
Communication is key.
That's right.
Not learning some funny language, how to call women and call
Right,
men in
man.
some funny language.
You're right, man.
Yeah. So I want to ask the young people, in 10 years, somebody who is 15 is 25 years.
That's right.
That's a grown man, grown woman. So what are you watching?
I don't know how old is your daughter, but
My daughter is turning 17 in April.
I sensed you have a passion for that age group.
Totally.
You have mentioned that.
Totally. Yes. Because imagine, Benjamin, in 10 years my daughter is 27.
That's right.
Yes. She's turning 17 in April.
Robert, how have you spent your last 10 years in terms of information learning and becoming who you are?
Building myself.
Oh,
Benjamin, I read like a madman.
man.
I watch. You should see me. When I come to your work, I watch.
Man.
I watch other people.
You're a
I stand in front of a mirror. I speak.
man.
Because I'm called to go and speak life to people. So what I did, I looked at my mistakes, accepted my mistakes,
Right.
cleaned up myself, and then said, this is where I want to go. I've tasted death. I will speak life. That's all I do. Now the thing is this.
I have tasted
death. I speak life.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is that what you were saying in Jeremiah 6:16? Go back to the crossroads.
Yes. I've missed a turn here. Move. Then when you get it right, move. Change lives.
You're right, man.
Change lives. The voice of purpose must be louder when you are dead.
The voice of purpose
Must be louder when you are dead. Dr. Miles Monroe is speaking louder now in his death. The principle is the same, even in the world. Tupac Shakur sold more music in his death. Michael Jackson sold more music in his death. It's a principle that cannot be taken away from us. Jesus' power was after his death. After your death, we will know what you did when you're alive. Yeah. Because the death is the loudspeaker of what you're doing. Yeah.
So when you exit stage, what you're doing will still splash out.
Must. Good or bad.
Good or bad.
Osama bin Laden died. When you mention his name, do you talk about the Bible? Talk about him killing people.
You're right.
Miles Monroe, teacher of purpose.
You're right.
Yeah, and relationships.
You're right.
When Benjamin Zulu exits the stage, we will know what you are doing while you're alive.
You're right.
Changing lives, being a pathfinder to many people.
You're right.
I mean, let me tell you, some of your clients are my friends. There's even somebody in the US who you have changed their life.
Wow.
And that's what I'm talking about.
Right.
When you can change beyond your geographical area.
That's right.
So to the young people, You don't be lied to that you have the luxury of time. In 10 years, a 15-year-old will be 25. You will need a job somewhere.
That's right.
As a manager. I mean, Rwanda opened my eyes, Benjamin.
Yes, man.
I looked at myself sitting in that TV station, and the things they were drawing from me, I'm like, what? I was even saying, this is good information for people out there.
You're right.
So if you expose that information to a 15-year-old, and that means most of the people they invite, they draw such information. So they are feeding them with the right things. With the right things.
And you know, Robert, I've heeded your call because you've been reiterating this on all your shows.
Yes.
That we are planting the wrong content in the next generation.
We are. Benjamin, we are.
I heeded that and I sat down with my team and we were reasoning. We said, TikTok.
Yes.
And we went to TikTok.
Yes.
So far we have 160,000 subscribers.
Very important. We got to go there. We got to go there.
In less than a year. And one thing you kept repeating, because I want to hear of the guys who have been here longer. I may not have all that time you have had.
Right.
And because you are forerunner,
Yes.
you are ahead, you are telling us what you are seeing.
Yes.
When drivers are meeting each other, they notify each other what's happening, where they are coming from.
Yes. Wengine wanaambiana polisi kwa hapo nyuma. I don't know what they do with their hands.
They have hand language.
Yes. Yeah.
And one thing you kept reiterating is saying, we may have been famous as a country or preferred internationally, but we are taking the wrong turn.
Absolutely.
We are feeding garbage.
It is so painful. Benjamin, it makes me want to cry. Because kids are sitting in sitting rooms, listening to their fathers and their mother gossip. Kids wake up, they're being taken to school, listening and watching their mothers and fathers bashing people online. Then that will be, it's normal. Let me tell you something. Why do you think there's bullying in Kenya? Parents are bullies on social media.
Oh.
Before we think and deal with the bullying in high schools and primary school, where did they get it from? We are bullying on social media. So they know that. They know that.
You're right.
Yes. We parents are shouting, schools bullying, bullying, bullying. Well, they learnt it from us. We are bullying people on social media. We are insulting people on social media. And then what you're doing, we're just handing them the baton of bullying. And they'll just take it to another level. If you hand them the baton of good information, they will take it to another level as well. So it's what you give them and they will run with it.
I asked
Jesus said, I am my Father's business. That's it.
You're right.
What my Father says I will do.
That's right.
I know the character of my Father. I will radiate the character of my Father. Simple as that.
Wow.
Yes.
What I see my father do, that's what I do.
Yeah. Bro, when you get 19-year-olds on social media thinking they can insult 35, 40-year-old people, 45-year-old people, 50-year-old people.
Dignitaries.
Yes. Who have gone before them, have the scars to show. And a 19-year-old wants kujibishana na wewe on social media. There's something I learned from you when you came to my show. You said people come and they start abusing you on social media, block them. Because they're taking away from what message you're giving people. I've learned that as well. But the question is, if a 19-year-old can think they want to go toe-to-toe with a 50-year-old, 45-year-old, 35-year-old, somebody who has shown the scars, somebody who is an apostolic by clearing thorns and thistles that the same people should be walking through, and they are insulting you, then there's a problem. But my worry is, if we go on like this, and we spoke in your office, if we go on like this, 10 years from today, we will see the gap.
Let me expound on that principle.
Yes.
That rottenness, even in fruits, is infectious. One rotten apple will spread the rot.
Absolutely.
And what I was telling you that time, I have observed many of our public teachers missing that point.
Yes.
And I keep reminding my team, don't engage Doegs. Doeg was a guy who was cursing David and kicking dust in the air. Go away, you.
Yeah.
And if you let them have a voice and a stand, have a space, it spreads and they spread. And I'm not saying we always take away critics. The attitude is what matters.
Yes.
A person who is suggesting different approach and different views in a respectable way,
we take it 100%.
But dismissive and cursive language,
abusive,
my brother, I found it the most profitable thing to do. Don't even engage.
Yes.
So that at the end of your tenure, you'll have delivered a group that can speak positive.
Right.
You want a space that people can be vulnerable, because when people are coming to attack others, when you try to be open and vulnerable and to relate with what you're discussing, and they're just insulting them, the other people will recoil.
Of course. And they miss out.
In class, sometimes they say they're allowed to take out one learner if they're making learning and teaching impossible.
Absolutely.
That should be your principles in your online classes.
That's why there is expulsions in schools.
Yes. And the button of blocking, I keep thanking Zuckerberg for it. That's what button I use.
Yes.
And the WhatsApp and whatever. Because I realize some people are just envious and driven by the wrong energy.
It's true.
Now, let's come to this. We must organize something where you can talk more to that young group.
We have to.
Right now, they're on holiday, many of them high schoolers. They have
No, sorry. There's a graduation in Rwanda.
Yes.
2-3 days ago, a week ago. They invited Vusi Thembakwayo from South Africa, one of the greatest speakers we have in this continent and the world. It means they are willing to invest for the very best to go and speak to their people.
You're right.
Yeah. Vusi Thembakwayo is a busy man. Great speaker. Knowledgeable par excellence. Now you see, the best you can do for the young people is not to invest in their clothes. I'm not saying they walk naked, no. But there's no point of having smart fools. The best you can invest in the young people is the information you give to them.
Wow.
I'm telling you. Look for Vusi Thembakwayo. Then you will know they know value when they see.
That's right.
Yes.
And a small country is inviting big people.
Yes.
Do you know, I saw that what you spend on here is musicians.
Yeah, but we can also have good music. But now, when we start singing about Mahaga, kila mtu ako na pombe, above the head.
And you know, there's a time I talked about that kind of music because on New Year's Eve, my friends were showing me clips and sites of what is happening because they know I'm passionate about this age group. They're telling me, come, we'll show you how they are crossing the year. Look at this. And what they were doing is what you call that twerking. And it's like that's the highlight. And the music they're celebrating is even blasphemous.
Yeah.
It depicts a hymn. A Christian, I'm happy today. Depicts a Christian song. And then they
tweak
it to worship alcohol. And people don't see the blasphemy and the mockery of God in that. As I lift your beard with this, they mimic the Catholic prayer in a fleshly and mocking way.
You know, we talk about a faithful God, a merciful God, but we also forget he's a consuming fire. Slow to anger doesn't mean he doesn't get angry. In fact, the people who are slow to anger are the most dangerous.
Exactly.
Benjamin, we have to do something. We may not be popular.
You're right.
But one time, history will speak for us. History will speak for us. I kid you not. History will speak for us.
You're right.
We don't do this for plaudits and awards. When you do this kind of thing, don't expect anybody to clap for you.
You're right.
But history will clap for you. That's it.
And you will hear the final compliment. Well done, good and faithful
servant. Yes. History.
Revelation talks of two guys who will be preaching. Only two of them. They'll be preaching in a very obstinate style. They'll be killed. Their bodies will lie down somewhere. Later on, they'll be resurrected. So sometimes you may be a minority. But one thing I've noticed also, Robert, and which gives me a lot of hope, is I've had a lot of people, young and old, midlife, saying, finally you validated what I've always felt.
Right.
That you can actually live differently in this era.
Yes.
So can you get the heart of our brother Robert? Do you see how he's burning? Hey. And he's saying it's unfortunate that our culture is stoning, trampling down the feet, trying to shoot down the very people who have the saving message. How many times do you see on our websites, on our conversations, I wish I knew this on time? You have time. If you are alive today, even if you are 59 or you're 19, we are telling you this so that you can change something. The only true end is death. But there's some seasons he has said, once they close, you can only run after the bus. He has said, yes, let's stop consuming garbage. Let's stop running after gossip. Other countries, their national psyche, there's a big word for national psyche called zeitgeist. The zeitgeist of Rwanda, he tasted and he envied that they have a collective zeal and hunger to know the true things. Maybe it's because they have seen calamity, and here we are still joking. I want to ask us, what will you carry home today? Can you stop following pages that are just gossip? They pick a teacher who's teaching good things and they just look at the gossip things that are trying to taint their name, and that's what you are consuming. We even have people who have made a name out of trashing women, trashing teachers, trashing, speaking vulgarity, and they have followers. They post something, it has 200,000 views of cutting down someone, and you are among those who are watching. He has said something that I liked a lot, because I heard another guy say it. You cannot rise when you continue cursing greatness. When you curse great people, you exclude yourself from them. Change what you're consuming. Come to the forefront. Your life is being dictated by what you're taking to your mind. Thank you, my brother. That was touching. And I can't believe I've had the opportunity today to take it in. And you know what? Guys, we will be here 10 years, 20 years from today. Hopefully God is keeping us alive to spend our years and do our work. And those who heed to this will reap. See you next time.